just going to turn this down a little bit. Hey, vinyl community. This is Brian at Cosmic Vinyl, and I'm doing a contest video. This is for Rob at Black Star Vinyl. I'm sure you guys know who Rob is at Black Star Vinyl. I have been I've watched a lot of his videos through the years, but I have basically been binge watching his videos now for the last 2 days and nothing else. Basically on 3 different computers and telephone, and I've been watching nothing but Rob at Black Star Vinyl videos, and I believe it's starting to maybe rub off on me a little bit. So I apologize for anything I may say or do, but frankly, if you don't like it, you can fuck yourself. And I mean, because it's not my job as a YouTuber to keep everyone happy. I mean, sure, I've made a lot of friends here in the vinyl community, but if you don't like the way I do it, then maybe go watch another video. Some crazy fucker who wears colorful t-shirts and bandanas and sunglasses and acts like he's got ADHD. But anyway, this is a contest video, and you'll have to excuse me. I've been sick for a couple weeks, so just kind of give me a break here. And excuse the mess here. I would never. This is ridiculous. Like somebody threw up, some hippie threw up in here. So anyway, this is Brian. I'm doing it for Rob at Black Star Vinyl. He's 500 subs, no frills. And if I, do see anybody out there with frills in their videos or whatever, I am going to kick them in the face and basically stomp on their nuts. So here we go. The rules are to Rob's video is you pick 5 frickin' vocalists who are your favorite, like that would be your dream team of vocalists, and also then you move on and pick 5 guitarists and 5 bass players and 5 drummers, and then if you want, you can also add like 5 utility players that, like keyboards or harp or whatever, harmonica or friggin' tambourine. I don't give a frick. So anyway, let's move on with this, and I hope you don't. I hope you like the video, but if you don't, well, fuck y'all. I really don't care at this point. So anyway, my first 5 vocalists are Jim Morrison, obviously. I mean, if you don't like Jim Morrison, you can basically frick yourself. And because, I mean, he's one of the greatest singers. He's got that richness to his voice, that soulfulness. It's coming from a place of, something, he from his poetry and his life. So yeah, Jim Morrison. And, basically, if you don't agree with me, you can suck it. So anyway, David Byron of Uriah Heep. Now, David Byron is a great singer, really great high register, pre-metal stuff. So, I'm all about the metal, and Rob is all about the metal. And so, yeah, we would choose David Byron from Uriah Heep. It's that pre-proto metal stuff. Great singer. Ronnie James Dio, probably one of the best metal singers of all time. I mean, we all love metal, right? So yeah, I have to throw Ronnie James Dio in there. He sang for Sabbath. I mean, he sang for Elf, Deep Purple, Rainbow. I mean, how can you not like this freaking guy, right? He's great. Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, one of the best frontmen vocalists of all time. there would be no metal without Robert Plant and Led Zeppelin. And then I had to go with the swagger of Mick Jagger, from the Stones. Friggin', he's awesome. How could you not like Mick Jagger? Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people out here? Mick Jagger, of course. Anyway, oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on, somebody's at the door. I'll be right back. If this is somebody that's going to interrupt my video, I'm going to basically kick their nuts off their face. What the hell do you want? Well, how'd you get in here? What the hell are you doing? Interrupting my video. It's ridiculous. I remember inviting this guy in here. Alright. Jesus Christ, you're not going to believe who was at the door. Can't believe we interrupted it for that. What's up? Vinyl Community YouTube. I'm taking over this contest video right now. Alright, let's turn this shit down. Alright, where are we at here? Rob at Black Star, no frills, 500 subs. That was about as no frills as I get, folks. I broke kayfabe there for your video, Rob. I broke kayfabe for your video. So, anyway, I hope you're not offended by any of that because it was all in fun, brother. I friggin' love your channel, dude, and I love that you kind of are a no-nonsense kind of guy. Anybody out there in vinyl or in vinyl community and YouTube that knows Rob knows he's got a big heart. Sure, he seems tough around the edges, but man, that guy's got a heart and he'll do anything for anybody. I can tell, man. And at times I've seen him, kind of wear his heart on his sleeve a little bit at times. So, yeah. So anyway. 5 vocalists: Jim Morrison from The Doors, David Byron from Uriah Heep. Oh my God, David! I love his voice. It's got, he's got that register where he can it's powerful. Do some great stuff. And Ronnie James Dio, Robert Plant had to be on this list. Mick Jagger for this attitude and swagger alone. But anyway, moving on to the guitarists here. I had to put my boy Buck Dharma on there from Blue Oyster Cult because I love Blue Oyster Cult, first of all, and their music stylings, it's hard to nail them down because sometimes they're metal, sometimes they're kind of even like pop, and sometimes they're just classic rock and roll. And so yeah, I had to throw Buck Dharma in there. I also threw in Mick Ronson from Bowie and the Spiders from Mars. I mean, woo, ding! So anyway, yeah, I picked Mick Ronson. Remember, it's my list, right? Also had to pick Ace Frehley. Come on, Ace, my boy Ace, the spaceman. I mean, when I was a kid, I was just watching him and how he was just so effortless when he played, and he kind of leaned back on his 7-inch silver heels, and he was just like, and to this day, that guy can play the shit out of a guitar, man. I also chose Wayne Kramer from MC5. Freaking love Wayne Kramer. And I recommend, if you like to read, rock and roll biographies, read Wayne Kramer's. It's really good. And then I had to throw the master of the metal classical type trained playing of Yngwie Malmsteen as my number 5. So yeah, those are my 5 guitarists. Bassist John Entwistle. You know, that guy didn't move around on stage, and he didn't run around, and he did the fingers. He didn't have a pick, but that guy could friggin', I mean, he could bass. I mean, he was so great of a bass player. Same with Flea is kind of a finger guy too, slapping the bass. Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, so good. And what about the heaviness of Geezer Butler of Black Sabbath? I'm gonna hoist this Shiner Bach up for Geezer Butler because he was amazing. If it wasn't for Geezer Butler, Black Sabbath wouldn't have had their occult type image or any of that, because that all comes from Geezer. So now I'm going to take this clear down to the other end of the spectrum. Bootsy, baby! Bootsy, baby! Bootsy Collins. Bootsy Collins from friggin' Parliament, Funkadelic. That guy can rip. I mean, I don't know if you've watched Bootsy play, but that guy knows where it's at. And he's influenced by some of the greatest rock and roll players of our time, including Hendrix. And you know, he's got the attitude and the flair of Hendrix, and Richard Pryor, who's not a musician, but he's got the swagger of a Richard Pryor, and I mean, he's even Little Richard. I mean, shoot, Little Richard should have been on my vocalist list. And then, of course, I had to throw Steve Harris on there from Iron Maiden. I mean, foot up on the monitor, just banging away on his bass. I mean, you know, and then looking around, and it's just like, I mean, I was right there. I could smell his breath in concert. And it was minty fresh. All right. Can I give honorable mentions? Honorable mention to Roger Daltrey and Sebastian Bach on the 5 vocalists. For guitarist, Prince, honorable mention. And an honorable mention, John Taylor from Duran Duran as a bassist. Laugh all you want. Go listen to some of his bass lines, and I challenge you to try it, you finger fumbling flunks. Anyway, drummers. I mean, these were hard lists, man. I mean, it was hard enough to narrow it down to 20, let alone 5. But I love the styling of Keith Moon of The Who. I mean, that guy doesn't even look like he's like all spastic. He doesn't even appear to be holding his sticks correctly, let alone being able to bang out on the drums like he does. But, you know, he's like a punk drummer. He's so good. Dave Grohl of Nirvana and Foo Fighters. Of course, you know, he hasn't played drums with the Foo Fighters, but I have seen him play drums for Queens of the Stone Age. And Dave Grohl is a killer drummer. He's a banger, you know, one of those guys that's a hard hitter. Love it. Tommy Lee. And I know a lot of you might laugh at that, you know, the whole hairband thing. But I watched Tommy Lee, and he's just that lanky dude, and you know, the dynamics that and all the things he can do on the drum set, and all the tricks and stuff they've done for their live shows with the drums, upside down, roller coaster, the whole works. Tommy Lee is on my list for sure. And then probably the heaviest hitter of all, I had to throw John Bonham on there as well. I think I shorted one. Albert Bouchard of Blue Oyster Cult. That dude is also a heavy hitter. Go back and watch like early live Blue Oyster Cult videos on YouTube. Albert Bouchard had this huge afro, and he's ripped. His arms are just ripped. I mean, that guy could pound. And then I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Danny Carey, who plays for Tool, and lots of other, like, you know, experimental prog bands and stuff. And he also said we could use 5 utility players, or you know, keyboards, harp, whatever. I chose number 1. I chose Claude Schnell. I did keyboardist, is what I did. So I took Claude Schnell. I think he played for Dio and I want to say he was maybe part of the Scorpions too. I don't know. You know, all those 80s like hair bands and rock bands all were like so anti keyboards, but yet every single one of them, every single album has keyboards in the mix. And if you don't believe me, then you're in denial. And a lot of them also had off stage keyboardists playing. As with Claude Schnell, though, he was like part of the Dio band. So I also picked Raymond Daniel Manzarek of the Doors. I mean, Ray Manzarek was not only the keyboardist, but you know, he carried the rhythm as well as because they didn't have a bass player. So yeah, Raymond Daniel Manzarek has to be on there. And I also chose Billy Preston. Billy Preston is a hell of a keyboardist, and he's a heavenly keyboardist as well. But that guy is so great. He's played with the Beatles, the Stones, maybe even Sly and the Family Stone. But yeah, he's great. I also had to throw in some classics. The classic keyboardist, session guy, Nicky Hopkins. He also played with the Stones, Donovan, the Beatles, the Who, the Kinks, Screaming Lord Sutch. And then I picked again from Blue Oyster Cult, Alan Lanier, a really great pianist, keyboardist for Blue Oyster Cult. This contest video brought to you by Shiner Bach from the great state of Texas. And I also tell all my Texas friends out there, peace be with you. Okay, now we had to pick 5 records that we have an emotional attachment to. Now, he did say we don't have to explain, you know, the emotional attachment, but, you know, I probably will. I mean, I'm that kind of guy that I'm not scared to share my emotions, so I'm going to start with this Van Halen, Women and Children First. Gosh, what a great record. A friend of mine, Joel Johnson, when I was in high school, we both were on the Spanish class and Spanish club in high school. He was a year ahead of me, but he knew way more about music, and he was way into. He's the one that introduced me to Blue Oyster Cult. I already liked Van Halen, but he got me more into Van Halen with like Women and Children First and Fair Warning, and you know, he introduced me to like Montrose and Robin Trower and Procol Harum and stuff like that. And he was a really good friend of mine back then. I don't even know what happened to Joel. I know he moved. He went to Chaminade at college in Hawaii, and then I think he still lives there, but I haven't seen him or heard from him for a long time. But this takes me back to the days when me and him hung out together. We went to Mexico together. We went on a tour thing for high school students. We had such a blast. We also went and visited some girls down in Kansas and stuff from Iowa. I mean, we met girls. He was a girl getter too. So that kind of reminds me of that. And then there's this, which is Alice Cooper. What? God dang it! This is freaking Bay City Rollers. Sure. You know, one of the first girlfriends I ever had, first girl that I ever kissed. Sure, she liked this band, and it kind of, you know, when I see them, it reminds me of roller skating to slow skate songs, and you know, my first girlfriend. But god damn it, if I didn't throw that in there. All right, this is what I meant to show. Alice Cooper, Dada. Now, if my friend Titanium Tim is out there, my boy from way back in the day, the Trenchcoat Boys, he turned me on to this record. It was basically an unknown Alice Cooper record back then, and we dove into this thing, and it's got so many twisted. It's a twisted concept album with songs like God, I can't even read that. Formerly Warmer, No Man's Land, Dyslexia, Fresh Blood, Pass the Gun Around. I mean, this is a great unsung Alice Cooper album, and it reminds me of my old good buddy Titanium Tim Lamb. So, yeah, I threw that in there. Here's to you, my friend Tim Lamb. And then, of course, this is one of my most sentimental records here. As a kid, I loved this record. I played the wheels off of the 8-track that I had. And I went through numerous cassettes of this record. I believe if you go back into my catalog of videos, you'll see where I did where I had this fever dream while listening to Bowie under the influence of some powerful painkillers as a kid. And yeah, it was quite an experience. It stayed with me even till now. So yeah, David Bowie, Low. And then also, again, my introduction to my favorite band of all time was this Blue Oyster Cult record, BOCETL, Extraterrestrial Live, double live record. Just takes me back so many memories of a real fun time back in the high school, again with Joel and other friends that I introduced this to. Just a great record. I mean, I basically dove way deep into Blue Oyster Cult after getting this record. So yeah, those are my 5 emotionally attached records. I think there's 5 there, wasn't there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God! Well, guess I'm gonna pull this standby again. I've shown this a million times. This is one of the first records I ever owned and bought. It's Bubblegum Rock. I showed it recently on another tag video. It's the Casnet's Cats Singing Orchestral Circus. Gosh, if I only knew I had 4, I would have grabbed something out of my metal section. But anyway, that's that again. Alright, and then this is a fun question, and I love fun questions like, if you were a new crayon going into the box, what would you be? And see, my favorite color when you get the big box and it has all the colors in it is a color called periwinkle. And I just love periwinkle. It's kind of a light blue, lavender, kind of purplish almost. It's a soft color, almost a pastel. But I love periwinkle. So I came up with a darker version of periwinkle. It's a little darker than lavender, but it is purple, and I wore kind of the glasses here, the purple glasses, hoping that it would in the purple tint would help inspire me to come up with this color. But it's a crayon called Cosmic Blurple Winkle. It's the Cosmic Blurple Winkle. It's part blue, dark blue, part purple, and periwinkle all mixed together. And since I'm Cosmic Brian and this is Cosmic Vinyl and this is the Cosmic Realm, I called it the Cosmic Blurple Winkle. So yeah, there you go, Cosmic Blurple Winkle. Alright then. Alright, hey, you guys, go to Black Star Vinyl. If you love metal, all things metal, he's your guy. One of the top metal collectors in the vinyl community. Rob, I love you. Hope no offense from the very poor imitation that I tried to do of you. I can't fill those shoes. By the way, I did break kayfabe from Cosmic Brian to do that, and I have never, ever in the history of the vinyl community shown my hairline. I've never uncovered my hair on, so this is basically a historic video just for that reason. I've always wore a bandana or a hat. You go back, check it out. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Peace out, guys.